Somehow, this always delights me when I turn on the QuickTime Player thing to do the webcam thing on the Apple MacBook Pro. Well, we're all narcissists, aren't we? Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Monday, June 20th. Just about now, the actual first, the sun's moving back down south. The big dark starting again since it's the summer solstice. So the days will be getting shorter now. My ex-wife was always big on the big light, after the thing in December, she says, "Oh, the big light's starting, dude." And then in the summer when it comes, she says, "Oh, the big dark's starting, dude." That's true. That's when it starts. I advise y'all, if I have familial types listening to me, to put the dogs and the kids away on this one, because it might get a bit raw. Maybe not. We'll see. Yesterday, Sunday, I had a very wonderful Skype session with my friend Tony Pincham in the UK and Tony BZ in Seattle. He came in actually fairly late in the conversation, but I think I ended up being on Skype for about 6 hours yesterday. God bless Skype. And I guess this kind of leads into what got me sort of going today. I am, on the whole, and I don't mean to whine about this, but every every now and again it becomes driven home to me. It just gets driven home to me. A profoundly, profoundly lonely man. I don't know many other gay guys. I mean, I know obviously Tony and Tony. There are obviously a couple, 3 people at church that are sort of. It's not an obvious thing that you can sort of interact with them on that level. It's and I don't go out to the bars anymore. I mean, I haven't gone out to a gay bar since 1991. It was fun. I mean, I always enjoyed doing it, but it's not something that I particularly want to do now. It isn't an age thing. Far from it. I've always gotten along well with guys of all ages, and there's the younger ones are always very suspicious at first, but okay. But it's it's fun. I mean, I like to hear what people have to say. I like to hear what people have on their minds and their points of view. Now, I may not, in the end, sort of adopt that as mine, but it's always interesting to know and always interesting to hear. Paul's off today. He was off yesterday, which is unusual. I mean, 2 days in a row, Sunday, Monday, that's unusual for him. But anyway, that's the way it was. And he did some laundry today, and I always note when he puts the laundry in, because our washing machine has a very long cycle time. It takes depending on how you set the little dials. It can go anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes. PGR sets it for something that, if you go down there after an hour and 5 minutes or an hour and 10 minutes, it's over. And then you can turn the water off because you don't want to leave those hoses turned on. Believe you me, I talked about that in the past. And, by 1:30 in the afternoon, Paul's well into his 13th beer, and he's sort of like, okay. So I went down and put his clothes in the dryer for him, turned the water off, and turned the dehumidifier back on. He had actually remembered to turn the dehumidifier off this morning, which he often does not remember to do. So I go in. I've done the you do the online newspapers. You try to catch up on the YouTube guys you usually always watch. And some that you occasionally watch. Oh, by the way, my grandson Eruptor CK put a video up. It was fun to sort of hear him and his dad interact. His dad was in the background. The Eruptor seems to like this gaming crap. Well, I wouldn't give you a dime for the gaming crap, but he's my grandson, so it's fun to watch him. Well, for me anyway. And it's in the morning for a couple hours, almost 2.5 hours. Paul and I sat out in the kitchen together and we talked about things. He'd tell me a little story about work and things, and I was talking to him about what the Tonys and I had said to each other last night, and it was great. You have these great little moments, and then plus, he had to go buy some materials for work. He had to go over to Home Depot to buy some steel brushes because they've got these grills out. Well, I guess I maybe shouldn't even go into that. But anyway, he had to go over and buy some materials for work. And and when I left, I looked at it. I always sort of keep a running beer count on him. It's like he'd had 6 when he left. And it's like 6. Just that's to go start the errand. I think he's up to 12 or 13. Which is actually Now you won't believe this, but this is actually slowing down. He's been slowing down a bit. I know. Where else am I going to talk? I don't have anybody else to talk to about this. So I guess you guys are the victims. Or your dogs if you've left them in the room. How many people were around to hear that? It gets down to profound loneliness. I'm very much looking forward to my trip in September, but that's not aimed toward alleviating physical loneliness. That's just mental stimulation and wanting to get on the move again finally. I think at any stage of your life, there's always a profound need for human contact. You know, I suppose even if you're a sociopath, I suppose some of the human contacts sociopaths have in their own way are human contacts, aren't they? I always have to fly off to the extreme. That's how I argue my point. I'm sorry, for those of you who don't understand the term argue, discuss my point. Oh, argue. Oh, that's confrontational. Oh, we can't be confrontational in a discussion of ideas. We have to be in safe spaces and safe. Give me a break. Well, you know, it's you know, when it hit me in 2014, particularly after I did this thing with Dan Fry about Gay and Gray. Well, he turned it into Gay and Gray, and he asked me for raw material, and I gave him raw material. It hit me that, well, it didn't hit me. I was very fully aware of it at the time. That I'd only been laid by a guy I'd been with for, you know, at that point, well over 35 years, 34 years, 33 years. I'd only been laid by, you know, in the interest of being fully honest, I'll say 6 to 8 times since 1988. I think it's a little less than that, but just, it's not like I write these down and keep a logbook of them, you know. Are the kids in the room yet? Are the kids back in the bedroom yet? You just need human contact. I mean, it's interesting that the bulk of these contacts happened after the dogs died. When Capricorn died in 95, when Prometheus died in 98. I'm not so sure about Oaklander Heidi and Shackleton. I think after Shackleton, maybe once. There may have been and there may have been even one in 2014, or at least an attempt at such. But, you know, I decided, you know, I had these little 2 flings. I had this little 4-month fling with a gymnast, and I had a little thing with a guy that was only a one-time thing. He thought he was bi, but I guess I turned him straight. But the gymnast was, of course, he and I went back and forth for quite a while. He never really sort of, laid down a UCAS, saying, never contact me again. He's not. I'd like to keep in touch with him because he's a nice guy, Massively smart. I mean, he's biochemistry major. I mean, he's really smart. He's nobody's stoop. But I haven't tried to follow him this year. I didn't even watch the NCAA gymnastics tournament on the internet, which I did last year. But it's a profound loneliness. I'm sure there's a lot of guys my age that I don't know. I mean, You'd think if you'd been with a guy for 36 years or 35 and a half years that you wouldn't be feeling profound loneliness. Well, that's my little bit of whining for today. Click, 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 click. They're all clicking off. It's boring. And I hope it hasn't verged on the boring with two A's. But there it is. So that's my... Oh, by the way, if my parents had still been alive, it would have been their 80th wedding anniversary. No. It would have been their 82nd wedding anniversary. Oh, and also, there's a friend of mine's sister got married, and we were at her sister the day that, who died? Oh, Ann Miller, a plastic surgeon, a great friend of mine, died in a car wreck. June 20th. Yeah, she died in, well, it had to be let's see, Shackleton died in 2012. So Ann Miller died, no. Yes. Or no, it was Pro died in 1998. So she died. God bless Ann. She died 18 years ago today. Ann Miller, Ann P. Miller, plastic surgeon, profoundly fine plastic surgeon, and died 18 years ago today. On a highway, going out to a shooting range with a friend of hers. Did not have her seatbelt on. She would have been alive today had she had worn her seatbelt. She was not driving. So I will say on that note, bye-bye YouTubers, and now you can let the kids out of their bedrooms and the dogs out of their, I guess, hidey holes or whatever. Alrighty, bye-bye.